Hi, it is Doula Deb with Doula After Dark, and our topic today is just because you went to your 6-week doctor checkup and they said everything's okay, that doesn't necessarily mean you're ready for sex. So today is the sex talk. Here's the idea that I hear most of the time. Once you hit your 6-week postpartum checkup, your provider says, yep, everything looks good. And somehow you think that means that you should be ready for sex, you want sex, you enjoy sex, and that your body is completely back to normal. We all know that is not true at all. So, first of all, a little bit of reassurance. This is normal. You are not broken. You're not behind. Everything is fine. It just takes time. Okay? Medical clearance is not the same thing as you are ready. Medical clearance, we're talking about things like, is your uterus back to pre-pregnancy size? Are your stitches healing? Are there any incisions that are healing? Are there any signs of infection? Things like that. That's what that 6-week checkup is all about. It's medical safety. That's what we're looking at. But what they are not assessing is your pelvic floor strength, scar sensitivity, hormones, libido, pain with penetration, nervous system readiness, emotional recovery, birth processing, sleep deprivation, on and on and on. So they're not asking you if you're ready. They're not asking you if it feels safe to have sex. They're not asking you if you want to have sex. They're just saying your body is capable right now. So let's kind of reframe what we just talked about. Being cleared for penetration does not mean you are cleared for pleasure. Those are two extremely different things. Let's talk about some of the real reasons why people don't feel ready yet. First of all, is the physical stuff. That one's the easy to understand stuff. So postpartum bodies are dealing with potentially still bleeding, vaginal dryness, especially if you are breastfeeding, pelvic floor tightness, scar tenderness, a feeling of pressure or heaviness, just pain in general. Second, we have the hormones. With hormones, we're dealing with estrogen is very low postpartum. If you're breastfeeding, it's even lower. Low estrogen can mean lower libido, dryness, and just a different sensation. If your desire feels flat, non-existent, that's physiology, not a flaw at all. Third is your nervous system. You have been with the baby 24/7. You might be feeling a little touched out because the baby is on you. You have to feed the baby. You are doing all the things 24 hours a day. And that can just mean that your body is completely touched out. When your nervous system doesn't feel safe, your body doesn't feel open and ready. Also, you're still processing your birth potentially. You're a little disconnected with your own body because it still looks very different than what it did pre-pregnancy. You may not even recognize this new version of yourself. That all matters. Fourth, the relationship stuff. Are you carrying most of the mental load? If so, that doesn't help. Are you completely exhausted? Probably, because you just had a baby. Are you feeling resentful of your partner? Is your partner sleeping a lot more than you get to sleep? Does your partner get to leave and go to work and talk to adults rather than be home with the baby all day? Do you feel supported enough? Sometimes new parents feel just disconnected from the world now. Desire usually struggles in all those different things. Desire thrives for safety, security, being seen, and attachment. So you need all of those things. So here are a few myths that I wrote down, and let's do a little bit of myth busting. Everyone else is having sex after the first 6 weeks. Absolutely, positively not. Um, Usually I hear that from partners that aren't thinking about all the other stuff. Myth two, you should just push through and have sex even if you don't feel like it. That'll help. No, it doesn't help. The more you feel pressured into having sex, the less you're going to want sex. Myth three, if you love your partner, you should want to have sex. Nope, you can love someone and not feel the desire for sex right now. Those can both exist at the exact same time. Myth number four, pain is a normal part of postpartum and you should just get used to it. Is it common? Sure. Is it necessary? Is it normal? No. So back to another little important tidbit here. Pressure kills desire, like I just mentioned. Feeling obligated is the number one way to turn off desire. So, what actually does help? Let's talk about that for a second. From a body standpoint, from your physical body standpoint, pelvic floor therapy can be absolutely huge and be extremely helpful. Lube, using way more lube than you thought you needed because of the hormonal shifts causing a little bit more dryness. That doesn't mean that you don't want to have sex. It just means that what is hormonally going on in your body is going to cause less lubricant for yourself. Going slow. A lot of times we need to start out a lot slower. Maybe don't have the end result be penetration. We can do other things with just touch. And that is something that we can absolutely focus on earlier rather than jumping right back in. And being able to stop if things hurt. You don't need to push through. You're not helping the situation. You're not helping your body. And it is making you feel worse, more resentful, and more angry. Just a little story about what this used to look like years and years ago when I had babies. An episiotomy was still the standard and normal thing that happened. And what a lot of the OBs would, as they are sewing up the episiotomy, they would do a little extra stitch. They would call it a husband stitch. So you'd be just a little bit tighter for them. And that created tons of pain, tons of issues, rather than helping anyone. Luckily, we're not there anymore, but this is a common thing that's been going on forever and ever and ever. As I said, you're allowed to stop if things don't feel good. You're allowed to tell your partner that something doesn't feel good and you need to switch and maybe you need to do this instead of that. We can just focus on connection. We can just focus on kissing. We can just focus on touching, and especially touching without the expectation that it's going to lead to sex. So that massage that you get offered a lot of times, that in about 3 minutes, it ends up in something else. We can stop that. Now, from a nervous system standpoint, what's going to help? More rest, having a little bit of time to yourself, gentle movement, not being the default parent 100% of the time. From a relationship standpoint, having honest conversations about what you're feeling. I do have a couple little scripts for you just in case you're having a hard time coming up with what to say. So here's number one. Being medically cleared does not mean my body or brain feel ready yet. I want intimacy with you, and what helps me get there is patience, no pressure, and slowly rebuilding. Another option, really quick. I'm not rejecting you, I'm listening to my body. One last one. When I feel supported outside of the bedroom, it's easier for me to want connection inside the bedroom. You don't have to justify your timeline. You can just be not ready yet. So I want to leave you with a couple last little points. There is no universal postpartum sex timeline. It could be 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Those are all completely and absolutely normal. You do not owe yourself to anyone else just because the date on the calendar says you're medically cleared. You deserve pleasure, you deserve comfort, and you deserve consent for yourself too. If you are having ongoing pain or other issues, maybe peeing a little bit when you cough, those types of things, talking to a pelvic floor specialist can make an absolutely huge difference. Definitely reach out to your care provider if you need a referral to get pelvic floor therapy. Last of all, you're not broken. You deserve pleasure. And this takes patience and not pressure. Thanks for listening. This is Deb with Birth Before and After doing Doula After Dark. If you have additional questions that you'd like for me to cover on Doula After Dark, drop them into the chat and I am happy to put them on my list. Thanks so much.